Hey. So if you're watching this, then you bought the pattern or a pattern bundle that has the Kronosaurus, aka Mimosasaurus. They're actually two different dinosaurs if you want a little dinosaur tidbit. But they were around in different time periods. And it just so happens that if you buy the Dino Buddies, one of the brands of dinosaur chicken nuggets, they made that shape a dinosaur, but they picked the kronosaurus. So that's why this one is named the kronosaurus. But in my bundles, I even have it say kronosaurus or a mosasaurus. So I did represent both with this pattern. I am using the pattern, which it's the same if you buy the single or a bundle, but I printed out a bundle. But my front top stat blurbage is very similar in all of my PDFs. It does talk about where it all started, how I actually used chicken nuggets to design these three, and then that one I just kind of looked at pictures on the internet of velociraptors and eyeballed it and drew my image to copy. So in crochet form. So these are done in rows. And I know sometimes it throws people off how it's written. I'm using this time to make the video to make it easier for you to understand, as well as find inconsistencies so I can fix the pattern. So if you just bought this, then you got an updated PDF that has all my fixes in it that I write as I'm making this video. So thank you for being patient during this video, watching me correct myself. Materials. The yarn is listed in here. I did list yarn too for making a larger size. The biggest thing is if you want different sizes, you need to find a thicker yarn and then use a bigger hook. This one does work great. That's the Velux. There's other brands similar to it. This is the marigold color. Anyways, it works great with a 5.5 millimeter hook. U.S. terms even there with the hook, but it is U.S. terms throughout. If you have loose stitching, just because your gauge is loose and how you make your stitching is loose, you'll want to drop down to the 5. They'll make about the same size nuggie. You're not really going to tell much of a difference. But the real big difference is the space in between each of your stitches. You're going to want that smaller hole if your stitches are loose, so that way your safety eyes, if you choose to use them, don't fall out. These are predominantly made with all the nuggies are predominantly made with single crochet. So when I call for an increase or decrease, as this little blurbage talks about, I will just put increase or decrease, and it is to be assumed you're doing single crochet for the increase or the decrease unless I otherwise specify. Like I talk about here, I would put slip stitch, decrease in between commas, so you know those go together and that's the type of decrease it's supposed to be. I know for the U.S. terms, for abbreviation, a slip stitch should actually be SLST. For whatever reason, my brain in all these patterns used SS. I am going to be correcting that, so just be noting that as you go through. That's also known in case someone has still the older version and happens to be watching this video. So we're going to go ahead and get started. There's a little picture of the guy all done. I do put pictures in the patterns when I deem it necessary. This one does have a lot of notes right here, and that is because of how you're doing his head. Some people got confused with it at first and didn't understand you're actually working both sides of your foundation chain to make that head. That's the snout and the head part right there. So we're going to go ahead and jump right in so you can see how that forms. And I'll kind of read this as I'm doing it. I will not explain how to do each stitch because it's going to be under the assumption you already know how to do these stitches. So first it tells us to chain 9, and I put my slip knot on here, so my yarn's attached to my hook. I will be adding that in to do a slip knot. And I'm going to go ahead and chain 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then it says to go to the second chain from the hook and single crochet. And then it says to single crochet again and single crochet one more time. So you're going to have 3 single crochets. And then it says to slip stitch 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And that puts us to the knot, our slip knot. And now we're going to turn our work just slightly where that slip knot is, and we're going to put a slip stitch on over it. And then we're going to turn our work again. So now we're going to work the bottom of that foundation chain. And we're going to do 5 slip stitches and 3 single crochets all the way to the end. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 2, and 3. And that was your first row. So now we have the head. And how it worked was we started with the big part of the head where the eyeball goes, and then made the snout, ran down the snout, made the rest of the head. So now we're going to start on the neck. So yeah, now you're going to work on the side. This will be the back of the head. You're going to put a single crochet in the side gap. That's this part right here, this flat part that you now have. And then you're going to put a single crochet. If you've done any of my other patterns, this is called for in the Stegosaurus too. That first stitch you made on the foundation chain, to go that way, that first single crochet, you're now going to put a single crochet in it, but you're doing it on its side because you're working that side of the head. I'll show you one more time on that one just so you can see. So we put this on the side, this right here, bring it a little closer. This right here is that first stitch you made when you were going down your foundation chain. We're going to put a single crochet in its side, not on top of it, to add to the neck. Okay, now you're going to chain 1, and then you need to turn, and I didn't write turn there, so, and that's kind of important. So now you're going to crochet, single crochet 3 times. 1, 2, and that third one is going to go into that stitch right there that was the last stitch in the part that went on the bottom of the foundation chain. 3. Now, we're going to make the neck. So, and that's row 2. See, all of this I considered one row because it's very intense and it's all working the head and the neck part. I might break this into a row 2 and then change all the others after it. But because this was so intricate, I wanted to keep it all together. So now let's go ahead and turn. so we can get our neck done. And it's going to be a single crochet, single crochet, oops, yeah, single crochet, and then an increase, and then we're going to start chaining 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Oops. Okay, so now we're on the bottom part, row 3. You're going to take your hook and single crochet into the second chain from your hook. And you're going to do that in the next 2 chains so that there's 3 total for that leg. And then you're going to single crochet 4 up the body. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now you're going to go down 4. Why? Because we're not going to do anything else to that leg. This is a little different. The legs aren't as wide on these. So now you just got to continue doing what the thing says. So we chained 1, and we had to turn 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, now we're on row 5. We're chain 1, turn. We're going to do 1, 2, 3, and then it says increase, so it will be a single crochet increase. 1 and 2. So I'll show you what it looks like so far. So you got your little head, little leg, and we got our body. We're getting ready to prep to go into the second fin. So we're going to chain 1 and turn, go start row 6. And it is an increase, so 2 single crochets in that first stitch. And then we're going to do 4 stitches, 4 single crochets across. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, and then it says now we start the second fin. So I'm going to turn the page so we can do just that. And this guy is a lot of tail. Okay, so row 7 starts with the chain 4 for the second fin. So we're going to go ahead and put that on there. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we're going to do a slip stitch in the second row. Again, that's a slip stitch, not a single crochet. Slip stitch in the second chain from the hook. And then we're going to do a single crochet in the next stitch. And then a half double crochet. Doesn't happen very often. And there we go. And now we're going to single crochet 4 into the body, going up the body. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then it says to decrease. Bring that up closer. Decrease. So that means we're just going to do a single crochet decrease. So that I'll go right here. And then we'll chain 1 and turn. And now we're going to start the tail. So it says to do 4 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, and 4. That puts us right up against that second fin. Show you. Right up against it. So now it says decrease, and then in parentheses it says yes, the decrease will go into the fin. Absolutely right, because it goes right up against it, and that's okay. So we're going to go and do a decrease. So it just goes into that first stitch on the fin, and that just kind of pulls it up, the fin up, and gives it some shape. Chain 1 and turn, so we can do the next part of the tail. It is 2 single crochets, 1 in each stitch. So 1 single crochet, 2 single crochets, a decrease, so it's a decrease single crochet, and then another single crochet. That will give us 4 stitches on this row of the tail, and this row was row 9. We're now going into row 10, and it is a single crochet, single crochet, and a double crochet, or not double crochet, a single decrease, single crochet decrease. Sorry about that, guys. That leaves you with 3 stitches along the tail from row 10. Row 11 is a chain 1 turn. I already did the chain 1 turn, and we will do a single crochet in each stitch. It's single crochet, single crochet, single crochet on the paper. So now we have again 3 stitches at the end of this row. Now we're on row 12, and we're going to chain 1, and it calls for a single crochet and a decrease. So single crochet and then a single crochet decrease. Row 13, chain 1 turn, single crochet, and single crochet. So 2 single crochets for this row, ending on 2 stitches for the row. Oops. Sometimes the yarn plays weird. Okay. Row 14 was a chain 1 turn, and you're just going to do a decrease and get us down to 1 stitch. And we're going to chain 1 turn for the last row, row 15. You're going to put in a single crochet, and then you're going to weave off your ends. So here is your guy. I get a little messed up, and you've probably seen it too. I get a little messed up here on the head because I want this bump to always be the top. Sometimes it turns out that way, sometimes it doesn't. For whatever reason, I want it to be up here. So sometimes my head gets a little weird on the instructions. But there's your guy, and he's looking great. That's it. If you have any questions, please holler. Let me know if you see something that's not working in it. This bump isn't quite so rigid. Once you put the other one on it and sew it together, it kind of smooths out and curves nice. And that's it.